What is going on, Marvelites? We have MCU news, updates, and rumors. It's been, 2 weeks since the last one? Um, we are here. We've got some major news and updates, mainly regarding Avengers Doomsday, and we've got some other news that we'll also talk about. The chat is live, so make sure you're putting in your thoughts. Anything you want to talk about, we'll throw it in there as well. But we are going to get the show started. Starting off with Avengers Doomsday, as mentioned. So, the Russo brothers decided to put out this cryptic picture out on Instagram and pretty much has the internet abuzz. And that just goes to show, in my personal opinion, that it doesn't matter what Marvel does. You put something cryptic out, it still sends everyone crazy. But we have no idea what is actually happening in this picture. It definitely looks like Reed Richards' chalkboard. It's obviously zoomed in a fair amount. It's blurred. You can't really read the text. But I'm definitely pretty positive that it's Reed's chalkboard, and it's, again, probably just all of his failures that he's decided to write down because Reed sucks. So there's that. Besides that, we got some really, really, really big updates regarding Avengers Doomsday yesterday. We got some highlights from some sort of event in Shanghai of first of all, Doom's outfit and kind of his armor. I just have to say, looks pretty dope. And if it is any bit like that in the movie, it's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. I really hope that we don't see RDJ's face for a long time, if at all. But my goodness, look, this is just so good. It's so good. So good. With that being said, there was also a light show. Why don't we have these things in like America? Why don't they do this stuff? And if they do it at like Disneyland in California, which obviously I'm not in the right location for that. But like the light show, we got some really good stuff in here. Like obviously Doom, that's a pretty cool picture of Doom. We've got, though, Doom sitting on his throne, which I'm most likely expecting us to see. Looks very reminiscent of that one panel of Doom sitting on his throne in Doom War by, I think, Christopher Mayberry, kind of when he's trying to steal a bunch of vibranium from Wakanda, essentially. Mo, what's going on? Thank you for being here, my guy. Appreciate you as always for showing up. And then we got a recreation, at least this is what people are saying, and it makes the most sense. We've got Doom pulling a skeleton or holding a skeleton. At least we see the skull and the spine for the most part. And this is, of course, probably one of the most famous panels that we know of Doom, pretty much in Secret Wars from Jonathan Hickman, of pretty much wrecking Thanos. So if we get to see that, I don't know if we're going to. It was going to be very interesting, to say the least. Yes, Mo, we've got the Black Panther shirt on today. This was actually a Nerding on a Budget find. I found it at a comic shop, and it was, I don't know, it was probably less than $10. It's slightly off center, I think. It's not much. You can't really tell that much, but I think that's why it was on sale. But I saw it. I was like, I have to get this. All right, next, what do we got? Oh, one more update regarding Avengers Doomsday, although it's kind of more speculation than anything else. We had just recently on Instagram was shared the Iron Studios CEO. I'm going to say his name really wrong. It's like Renan Pizzi, something along those lines. Iron Studios is, they make like action figures, kind of similar to Marvel Legends, although I don't think their figures are movable. So not an action figure. I don't know what to call it, but you know what I'm saying. But they made a MF Doom figure. I don't know when exactly, but they made an MF Doom figure. But we had the CEO. He's on location for the obviously recording of and shooting for Doomsday, and we've got an MF Doom CD Doomsday on in his picture. I really do think that they're going to kind of give a little ode to MF Doom in Avengers Doomsday, kind of like what Sanford Green and Jonathan Hickman did in that one shot of Doom last year. Was really good to see, and I hope they do that in Avengers Doomsday. Yeah. Just visiting the chat real quick. Super J, glad you can make it. Thank you for being here. And yes, Mo, Nerding on a Budget. Thank you. It was a really good find. Those are most of the updates and news for Avengers Doomsday. We did get, I haven't done the news updates live stream since this happened, but we've got Marvel Zombies. We had that official trailer go live around 2-ish weeks ago, I want to say. We know that is coming on September 24th. It is 4 episodes. I believe, supposedly, they're all dropping on the same day, same time. So it's going to be a binge kind of thing. We're not releasing weekly. And this is a direct offshoot from season 1 of What If, episode 5 in particular, where they had the zombie. I think it's What If Zombies. This is a direct offshoot of that specific episode. Planning on making a video on like what you need to know if you didn't watch it, or just kind of refresh your memory. But if you want to go do it yourself, it's definitely season 1. I'm pretty sure it's episode number 5. But we got a really good look at some awesome characters. Again, we're going to end up seeing Blade, and he's going to be the Fist of Khonshu. At least it looks that way. For me, he was probably the most exciting part of that entire trailer. I mean, the whole trailer was great. Everything about it, honestly, for real, Marvel, you need to pay some serious bucks to whoever edited that trailer because it was so good. Probably one of the best trailers I've ever seen. But we have an all-star cast in there, right? Like we got Iman Vellani, David Harbour, Florence Pugh. I can't think of her name. Haley Steinfeld. I mean, it's just going to be so good, and it's going to be, I think, a good watch. All right. After that, this isn't. I just tried to pull some thoughts from recent interviews from some folks within the MCU regarding their stuff. So it's not. It's kind of news. It's a little bit of updates. First one. Benedict Cumberbatch was interviewed, and he was asked why he wasn't. Whoa, this is all off. There we go. Why he wasn't in the initial Doomsday reveal of characters, and he jokingly said, I guess there wasn't enough chairs. I highly doubt that we're not going to see him. Like, we're probably going to see Doctor Strange in Avengers Doomsday. I would be very surprised if we didn't. That would be kind of interesting. The next one, Channing Tatum was in an interview with Variety. He said a bunch of stuff basically that came out of it. Essentially, he's going to be toning down his Gambit accent from what we saw in Deadpool and Wolverine. Although it's still going to be there. I think he said the Russo brothers want it to be funny, but not Deadpool and Wolverine funny. Obviously a little bit more of a serious tone and sentiment probably for the things that he's going to be involved in. Let's go to the chat real quick. Marvel is missing an opportunity to make a one-shot where Doctor Doom is actually the rapper MF Doom. That would be so dope. I feel like Sanford Green would be all about that. Like if we could get Sanford Green to even maybe possibly write it. I don't know how much writing he does, but illustrating for sure. I think that would be dope. Troy, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, Super J's talking about the Marvel Zombies. Trailer was definitely not what I expected, but crazy good. And yeah, of course, anyone that we're not going to end up seeing in Doomsday will most likely be in Secret Wars. We've got one more little bit of news regarding Channing Tatum and Gambit, and I think this is kind of just obvious, but he said that he's going to be in a big fight with Doctor Doom, which, I mean, is expected, right? If it's just going to be him and Gambit, I find that to be kind of a weird one-on-one battle. But if anyone was going to like try their own, because he's got such a bravado and he's kind of full of himself, more so, maybe not on the level of Doom, but he's definitely full of himself. It's definitely Gambit, and I don't see that going well for Gambit against Doctor Doom whatsoever. Now, if it's in a group fight, of course, that kind of makes sense that Gambit would be fighting with others against Doctor Doom, which I'm expecting we're going to see a lot of. So it's not that much of a news kind of thing, but like, all right. And then the last thing, regarding Secret Invasion, Chloe Bennett, she was in an interview recently, I think at some sort of convention, maybe Dragon Con. She's known as Daisy Johnson or Quake from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and she said that she should have been in Secret Invasion. I think, honestly, Chloe, you probably should just distance yourself as much as possible from that project because, honestly, in my opinion, it's probably the worst MCU project made to date. Even worse than Thor: Love and Thunder. And I need to rewatch that one. I'm not even sure how much I dislike that, to be honest. But like, I would just distance yourself from Secret Invasion. Like, I don't think you being in that show would make it any that much better. Unfortunately, it would not be that much better. All right, let's go back to the chat because we're going into the rumors next. Maurice, Marvel Zombies was super under the radar for most people, but that trailer got them hyped. Totally. I was honestly probably not. I'd probably watch it, but I wasn't going to be like, oh, I need to watch all 4 right away or whatever. But after seeing that, I'm like, we got to watch this like as soon as it comes out or as soon as I can possibly watch it. I do agree too, Mo, on Channing Tatum tripling down on the Gambit accent. Like, we need some more. Woo, about to make a name for myself. We need that. We need more of it. I think that is like part of what made Channing Tatum's Gambit so great, besides the fact that like it's just been years in the making. But like the fact that he went over the top with that accent is what it is like making it even better. Troy said if he is going to triple down, we are going to need subtitles for his scenes. I don't disagree with that. And then Troy, can we please move Secret Invasion to another dimension and then have it destroyed by an incursion? That might be the case, potentially. They can just be like, since they didn't handle it so well, right? It's just like, and that's like a huge event that happened. That would be like a really good way to like bring it back in and do it right the second time. Although I don't even know if they'd want to touch that. And what a waste of Olivia Colman. Is it Olivia Colman? Are you talking about Troy? Are you talking about not Maria Hill's character? It's the girl from Game of Thrones, which I agree with. Like the fact that we just done wasted her character. I'm just like, why did we do that? Why did we do that? All right. We are moving on to the next portion of our segment here, and that is rumors. These obviously take with a grain of salt, but I figure it's worth keeping track of them and knowing what people are talking about, because if it's going to be true, it's probably not, because most of this stuff is from scoopers, but I think it's, again, totally worth to talk about and just see. The first one is probably the biggest one, and we've got Chris Evans. Chris Evans was recently seen at Toronto International Film Festival, and this was a picture of him that was taken. And I gotta say, as with many people, he looks like he's in Captain America shape. And we already talked about last time that it was rumored that he was filming for this, and he's even filming a scene with Peggy Carter. Anyway, I'd have to say, after seeing this picture, it definitely looks like he was filming for Avengers Doomsday. Now, there's a lot of talk about him potentially not necessarily being Captain America, but maybe Hydra Cap, maybe playing a variant of Captain America. Either way, I gotta say, he's probably in it. Let's get real. Next one. I don't know how much truth there is. This is literally anyone could have said this. This was at D23 somewhere, I think. It was just a screenshot. I haven't heard much more about this, but obviously we've got a little video of Paul Rudd talking with the Russo brothers. And it is rumored that Ant-Man, Paul Rudd's character, is going to have a large role in Avengers Doomsday. Again, literally anyone with phone and internet access could have said that. How true it is, who knows? Although it would make sense because we've seen Paul Rudd as Ant-Man fill that role before in Infinity War and Endgame. So, how much of a role? Who knows? Before we get to the last bit, let's hit up the chat again. Oh, Troy, Lady Spitfire, Lady Fallsworth. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah. I only remember because Spitfire was part of the Invaders. That makes sense. And our last piece here, we've got a couple of things that kind of relate to this. One, Ryan Reynolds, in an interview with Variety, said he has not stepped on the set of Doomsday. Now, I put this here because it's more rumor related, I think, versus news, because Ryan Reynolds has been known to lie in the past. In fact, he recently came out and said that he was the one who leaked all that Deadpool footage from however long ago, before the first Deadpool movie was even made. This would also negate the fact that there was a fight supposedly between RDJ and Ryan Reynolds on set. No one even knows if that's even close to being true. However, it does make sense with these two quote-unquote alpha males going up against each other. But Ryan Reynolds saying that he has not stepped on the set of Doomsday, I don't know if I believe it. However, it could be very possible. Like, now, we could also walk or tiptoe around this, that maybe he wasn't on the set of Doomsday and he filmed somewhere else or outside of the set of Doomsday. Therefore, he's not necessarily lying and he's still telling the truth. Who knows? Obviously, we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that is pretty much it from the last 2 weeks. There hasn't been a ton of news and updates. Obviously, the biggest ones being the Avengers Doomsday updates that just came out in the last 2 days of what we're looking to see at what Doom's going to look like. Troy, let's hit up the chat one more time before we head out, and I hope everyone has a good day. I know this is super short, but it is what it is. I hope everyone's having a great Friday. Troy says, I'd rather scrub my baseboards than watch Secret Invasion again. That's bad. That is bad. And yeah, again, going back to Ryan Reynolds saying that he wasn't on set of Doomsday, that again would mean that he and RDJ didn't have a fight. Again, maybe he's just trying to like make sure that news kind of just dies down, or it just is like, if Ryan Reynolds wasn't there, there's no way he had a fight, right? Or that's just going to spur who else did RDJ fight with? It's just ridiculous. Otherwise, I hope everyone is having a great Friday. That is the last 2 weeks of MCU news and updates and some rumors. We will see y'all next Friday. At least that's the plan. Until then, Excelsior.